Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody. Um, Welcome back to my channel. For any first timers, welcome to my channel. Um, so for those who don't know who I am, I'm Natalie from Nat's Crafty Life, and also on Cricut for Australians. Hi Sharon, how are you today? I'm going to apologize in advance if I'm not super, what's the right wording? Loud, or if I have to cough a little bit or I have to have a sip of water. Still not 100% well, but I just don't have any free time between now and Paul's live next week that I can reschedule this live to. So um, jump on, say hello to me, tell me how you are. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm hoping that my setup is okay, that I can hear you guys, or that you can hear me. Um, hey Lee, hey Anne. It's a humid day here in Lismore, so I'm very sweaty right now. So, hey Kerry, hey Gail, hey Tennille. So yeah, I probably won't be my super bubbly self because I'm very exhausted. But we'll get there, and we're going to talk to you guys about how to create this really awesome wreath. Now, this is the small version of it, but for anybody who hasn't seen, we're going to create this super cute wreath, but we're going to make it in a bigger size. So this is just the small little ring. It's a 12.5 centimeter ring. Fantastic, Louise. I'm glad you guys can hear me. So I'm not sure if Paul's joining us, but if anybody wants to, feel free to go over and share on Cricut for Australians that I'm live, because I can't really do it while I'm live. But we'll get us there. Alrighty, so I'll talk about the supplies that we're going to be using. So first and foremost, I've mentioned them all in the comments. Well, I think I did. But what we've got is just the gold look wire rings from Kmart. I think that they're probably about $3. So they come with two sizes. One that is the smaller size, which is perfect for what I did, which was having it ring around a candle. Hey Janine, how are you? And then the larger one I thought was really cute as a wreath. Now, it's not like massive. It's not a big 30 or 40 centimeter wreath. It doesn't compare to anything that they see over in the US when they go all out for Christmas. But for somewhere here in Australia, I really like that understated look. So, and my husband's not huge on Christmas, so if I can get one hung up somewhere, that's a win in my opinion. It's not that he doesn't like Christmas. It's just, you know, it's a bit different decorating when it's just you and your partner and not like kids or anyone. So yeah. Anyway, so they are from Kmart, super cheap. Can't complain about the cost of them. The next one we have, what we're working with is we have cardstock. So I've pre-cut everything so that we don't have to waste time because it is a very lengthy file. Now, if you don't have the file is over on my page, which is Nat's Crafty Life. I've shared it twice, so you're probably going to be like, oh, what's that? One of them is the smaller sizing for this size ring, and the other one is for the larger ring because I did want to make the pine cones a little bit different in size. I thought that these would be a little bit too small for a bigger ring. And then you would need some hot glue, and you will also need some floristry wire, some just like 22 gauge kind of floristry wire. I have a bit of a roll here that I don't even know where I got it from, but probably a cheap shop or Spotlight. Just something to cut the wire and help bend it, sort of you need to make a knot in the wire at some point. And extra glue sticks because you can never have enough and I always lose them and everyone will test to. And then I just got this like beaded garland from Kmart. So it's literally just the beaded garlands you put on your Christmas trees or things like that. So it's super, super simple. And I'll just see no more comments. It's very quiet tonight. So sorry guys. Righto, so I'm going to change my camera, so I do apologize. But that way you'll be able to see me still talking, and you'll also be able to see the screen. So it's, oh, hey Deidre, how are you? So it's a completely different setup today. I just wanted you to be able to, you know, while I'm jibber jabbering on, I wanted you to be able to see what I'm doing and not just feel like you're just looking at my hands all night. Alrighty, so what I'm going to start with is making the pine cones first, because that's step one. So the main part of making the pine cone, and what I might do is make one of the big ones first. So I've got them all pre-cut and into their little sections. So I've got different sizes here. And what you need to do is sort of order your pine cones pieces in sizes from big to little. Yeah, it's a pretty smart idea. I was thinking about beads or like anything round, and I thought, oh, well, we've always got Christmas garlands. So I'm sizing these in order, and I think, let's make sure they are definitely in order. Yeah. And out of the two little pieces, this bit here is actually on the bottom, and this bit here is on the top. So just make sure. Hey, Yvonne. So we're going to start with this piece here, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to give him a little bit of a knot. So you want to put the wire through here, but you kind of want to knot it so that it doesn't go back through the hole. So I'm just going to create a bit of a knot here so that when that's lifted up, it won't go back through the hole there. Now you can bend these, you don't need to bend them straight away, but you can bend them up so that they give it some dimension. So as an example, the pine cone, this is the small one from the other project, but it turns out, you know, you don't have to poke it up or anything like that. So we'll start with that one. And what we actually do is we work smallest to biggest. So when we place the wire through the middle, what we actually have to do is bend over each piece and also feed the edges of the star over the wire as well. So I'll just see if I can get this first one done so you can see. It's hard with the wire bending. So we're just going to keep, you know, going over. And then over again. And then once that's done, you just push that bad boy down to the bottom, and then you start on the next layer. So it's super easy. Just feed that wire through. Don't let it go too far down. And what I tend to do is I try and go opposites so that it doesn't bulk up on one side. And it'll naturally fold where the little triangles are. So don't stress about whether you have to fold them beforehand. When you bend it over, it will naturally fold there. Scroll it all the way down, and so forth. So you don't have to worry about pushing them down once they're there. That's something that we will do right at the end. So I've seen these made, I've watched, well, there's no videos online that I could find of these ones specifically, this file being made from Cricut, but I have seen a blog that has this file. But unfortunately, in my opinion, the pine cones were a little bit stretched, if that makes sense. So we couldn't actually see that they were pine cones. It just looked like a witchetty grub or a slug or something. So we just bend them over. Really simple process. And I probably should have pre-made some of these so that you weren't going to watch the whole process for every single time. But I wasn't that prepared because I've been unwell. So I managed to get them cut last night. And I'm actually not even meant to be really talking now either. So supposed to be resting my voice, but you know, it's just the process. So feel free to jump on, ask any questions while I make my pine cone or get myself to that point of being ready to talk about the next step. How was your day? Alrighty, so we've got our pine cone sort of to this point. So you don't want to leave it long like that. You want to push it up so it gets that shape. No worries, Chris. You haven't really missed much, but yes, I'm feeling a little bit better, but not still perfect. Alrighty. And then this bit here sort of just sits on the bottom. It just creates that base for it. And then what you want to do is figure out the size you want your pine cone. Now for me, I kind of want, I'm thinking that size would be fine for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push them down for a moment while I make a little knot out of the wire at the point that I mentioned. So no one's going to really see the end of this or whatnot. And then I'm just going to cut that wire. So it's just going to create that ending. Now, for me, it's a little lopsided, but it's okay because by the time I place it on my wreath, it's not going to need to be perfect in each direction. So that's one pine cone done. And let's face it, pine cones won't sit perfect. They will sit lopsided anyway. Oh, I'm sweating already. So we'll just go down to the next one. So for anyone playing along at home, once the pine cones are done, so just for those that missed, just create your little knot at the top. Might help if I can actually knot. So I've just created a bit of a knot. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. And then once again, feed it through the triangle one. That's the top piece. So you just sit that there. And then sort of start from the bottom. Let's make sure these are in order actually, because I did not check that before. So I think that's now in order from big to little. Alrighty, so I'm just going to feed this one on, and I'll try and go a bit faster just so that those who are waiting at home potentially don't have to sit here and watch me fully make from scratch. But jump on, tell me how your day's been, have a chat. That's the benefit of live. And I'll just get this. Sorry, I've got the camera here so you can still see me. But, you know, unfortunately, I keep edging this way so I can see what you guys are doing. I mean, yeah. You know what I'm trying to say, guys. So we just literally, and like I said, we're just going to alternate it opposites so that we don't end up, I'm going to do this one next. Oh, it's really hot here. What's the temperature been like at your house, guys? Another piece on. The great thing about these is you'll be able to spin these pieces so that they sit perfect within each other. So, sorry if you can hear everything outside. Thanks, Yvonne. It's just been one of them days. I think this week. I wish it was cool today in Lismore. It's we had a bit of rain at some point, but not really much. So we were expecting, it was like a 50 or 60% chance of rain today, and you got like a few spits and that's it. Oh, the Vic border. That would have been lovely there. It's funny because I've been doing my classes online and the ladies, most of them are from Victoria, and the other day it was like stinking like 38, 39 degrees in Lismore. And they were from like Melbourne and it was like raining and they were wearing jumpers and I was like, that's not fair. Yeah, no, Linda, you don't have to to alternate them, like with your normal flower petals that we've done in classes and stuff, or what like we did for the craftathon. It will naturally, like, it'll twist. So if you can see here, they don't actually alternate, they're just random. Forgive me. My apologies, guys. Sorry. The aircon, we sleep with the aircon on, and it's making me dry out and get a touch of like laryngitis, which is why I'm supposed to be resting my voice, but clearly I'm a rebel and have decided not to. Alrighty, so that's the last one on. You just kind of like I said, you can spin him. Also, the direction that he sits will depend on your wire. So if you want him to be super lopsided, you can just bend the wire that direction. Pop your little one on here at the back. Figure out how much you want him. I think like that will be fine. And then I'll push him in, find that spot, and just make a knot. So I've made my knot at the back. Potentially this would be great if you wanted to hang them, so you just make the knot so you could hang him as well. So you could actually hang the, what's it called? Pine cone. Kerry put up the Christmas lights, but 2 lots don't work. Back to Bunnings. Oh, that's the worst. I don't do Christmas lights because of that reason, but yeah. Yeah, Linda, this is so super impactful. And then I just spike up the end bits just to give it sort of some dimension. But it is so easy. I thought I was going crazy when I realized how easy it was, because I was like, surely this looks way too perfect. And no, lo and behold, it is just that easy. So like, I know Paul was complaining that I was taking over his crown today. I say that in the nicest way possible, that he was complaining. Hey Jess, how are you? But he was mentioning, I should say, not complaining, was mentioning how I keep making these beautiful paper creations and that I wasn't the king of paper and I needed to back off a little. But he's actually been doing like a lot of vinyl projects lately. So he's kind of stolen my thunder, because vinyl and iron-on is really my thing. Kerry, they really do look realistic. Like up close, you can tell they're paper, but like realistically, you would not know. So, and I'm just using the texture on the outside so it creates a little bit of roughness, which is what it would be. So I'll just, one more pine cone to do. And then the fun part is that we get to assemble it. And I'll give you some hints for assembly, because as you know, we're using these are really tiny holes. Oh, I stabbed myself. As you know, we're using a wire pole. The wire for here, Linda, I think it's only like 22 gauge. Look, I'll be honest, it's leftovers from the craftathon in 2018 where I made crepe paper flowers. So I can't remember exactly, but I think we got 22 gauge. It wasn't 18. It was definitely something like 22. So I just got something thin, if that makes sense. So you wanted it to fit through different holes, which is how it will work. Yes, I know you love your paperwork. And Paul does great things. I just think that when it comes to florally type stuff, and not that this was floral, but I did say that I wanted to make a wreath for Christmas, and you know, he let me put it on the list, so it's his fault for letting me do it, because he put it on our list of lives. So I blame him. Yeah, Jess, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, like I said before you jumped on, I think, is I have a touch of laryngitis. It was worse beginning of the week. And I'm actually really surprised that I've been able to talk this long without a massive coughing fit. I think my neighbors probably all think I've got Rona. I'm very cautious of how I am. I went to go out for my mom's birthday on Tuesday, and then we looked on we're going just to the pub, and we looked at the pub's website so we could pre-order, and then found out that pretty much if you display any symptoms of Rona, which would be like, you know, your cough and flu type symptoms, that they will not let you in. So we decided to get takeaway, like from the pub. We just got a takeaway meal instead. But, you know, it is what it is. I know that I don't have Rona. So I just have to follow the rules. I was hoping to see my grandma this week in her nursing home, but I can't either. So yeah, so we're just going through, we nearly finished the last one, and then we can do the full assembly. Is there anyone playing along at home, or anyone that wants to make some pine cones? Cricut also have this project available where you just create a whole bunch of pine cones and pop them in a, what's that thing called? A cloche. I should challenge Paul for that hot air balloon. I think he would say get stuffed. He wouldn't want to do it. He loves his 3D projects, but I mean, he wouldn't need a hot air balloon for any reason either way. Oh, I forgot the last bit, guys. It was hiding. He always hides. So just give him a little bit of a knot. Let him expand back out. So now Chris is going to make some. So now I have my pine cones. There are 3 with the project. I have the spare small one left over from this little baby guy here. I thought putting a 3rd one on was going to be just too crowded. I don't even know if I'll use them all, but we'll see how we go. Alrighty, so I've got my hoops from Kmart. I just need the big one. Alrighty, so I've put this one aside. I'm going to get rid of my wire. I don't need any more wire. And I have my hot glue gun here at the ready. It's already turned on. So step 1 is about making a base for the cones to be attached to. So I've got some pre-cut different types of leaves. So I've got some holly leaves and I've got some pine. And they come in lots of different sizes. So in these ones here, there's some really long ones, and then there are some shorter ones. So you want to leave the shorter ones for when you go to do the full decoration. And your longer ones, you kind of want to attach around the corners here. I'm sorry that the camera keeps focusing. True, it would be perfect for Maggie's bedroom. So Paul, you need to do the 3D hot air balloon. So what I'm doing is I'm actually assembling and putting the hot glue onto the cardstock as opposed to onto the ring, because if I put it on the ring, it will cool instantly. So just, you need to keep that in mind. If you do put anything directly onto the ring like hot glue, it will cool instantly, and then it will just click off, like it won't stay where it needs to stay. So I'm just come on, glue gun, do your job. Just getting some on. And I'll move this up a little so you can see what I'm doing. Don't hurt yourself with your hot glue. Just create sort of some dimension, and you're going to get glue in places you don't want it, but that happens. Yes, Linda's already done one in my class, Paul, so it's not really her challenging it to you. You have to do it now. So these big leaves down the bottom don't really matter, so don't stress too much about the placement. And you can make more leaves or more anything you like if you want, so that you can cover the whole ring. I just like this sort of 1/3 of the ring look, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to sort of play it by ear. So now that I've kind of got a base here, and you can see here the base, I'm actually going to attach these bad boys. Now, something to keep in mind is that it will sort of flatten. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of push him out so that he's a little bit more flat, I guess, so that when I attach him, he's got a bit of a base to sit on, if that makes sense, because you want him to sit up a little bit, but you don't want him to be like squashed, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to pop some glue on his bum. The more the merrier. Pop him sort of on. Now he's sort of, like you can see here, he's going to stick up a little. But by the time you add extra leaves and things, it's not going to really matter. Make sure you have a surface underneath here. You can see I've got getting hot glue all over this mat, but that's okay for me. But if you don't like it, make sure you put like maybe a silicone mat or something underneath. I'm going to probably pop these bad boys, might pop him there. So I'm just going to squish him a bit. Pop some glue on. Pop him down. Now this gives me ample opportunity here to be able to add extra bit, well then things called berries and stuff, which are going to be these bad boys here. So I need to make sure I'm leaving room for that kind of stuff. And I might just pop one more here, so I can add some height to everything. So I'm just going to pop the glue on and just stick him in. I don't really know, I might add the little one later somewhere, but I think the 3 might be enough. Even 2 is really enough for me. From here, I'm going to keep adding some dimensions with the leaves. Now these parts here, you can actually sprig them up so that they actually have a little bit of dimension. So I'm saying actually are quite a lot. So once again, just a bit of glue, attach it to here. Might grab one of these bad boys. Now you don't have to shape them, but I just thought some shape would make it look nice. So literally just a dab on the back, stick him in, keeping in mind wherever you put the holly leaves is where you're going to want to put your berries. So you want to sort of be strategic about that. Dab of glue on the back. Might just move these guys out of the way. They're getting in the way for me. So it's now just going to be a game of where do you want to place everything. So let's shape this bad guy up. I'm actually going to turn this over. You'll see all my glue on the table. And I'm going to start gluing from behind. Now the reason for this is I want to create some more dimension. So I'm going to dab it on the front instead of the back. And give it some, actually I'm going to go this way. So once again, I'm going to dab it on the front. Oh, I'm missing some of the comments. I would love to learn how to do paper crafts. They scare me a little. Definitely don't need to be scared. Paper crafts is just about practicing. So don't feel like you're not capable of doing them or anything. It's definitely super fun to do. So I'm just creating some dimension from the back. Now, it doesn't have to be just the holly leaves that you put on the back. You can put anything anywhere. So please keep that in mind, that there is no right or wrong way when it comes to this project. How you, sorry, I'm trying to put some pressure on it from underneath. Just getting myself glued to the project, but that's okay. Look, the back of the project will never look pretty. Mine's full of glue on the back, and yeah. So just keep that in mind. It will never look super pretty from the back, so don't put it on a clear glass door. Let's go a little bit more here. Let's try and go in there. I'm really sweaty right now. It's probably not attractive to tell you guys that, but you know. Pop another leaf here. So see, I'm just sort of alternating a little. I'm just going to grab the scissors and snip those extra stems that are popping up because I'm not sure if I like them sitting up. So you can just snip them. And and the pine cones would make a really nice autumn wreath as well. But I mean, oh, thank you, Linda. You're so sweet. We don't really celebrate and decorate for every season like those guys over in the US do. But, you know, if you're from the US and you want to make this wreath, by all means, it would look great with some like autumn leaves and some, instead of the holly and the berries. And, yeah. So at the moment, it doesn't look super massive. It's just now going to be texturing. So, and layering up the leaves. So we'll just pop a little on the back. The berries will be the last thing. It is going to make the project, if that makes sense. So I'm just popping some more leaves. Great thing is to shape them a little, just to give them some shape and texture. And the holly, I just sort of scrunch them a little, if that makes sense. So we're slowly getting there with it. I may not even use everything I have here, but we'll try. So we'll just get some more leaf in here. I don't want to burn myself, so I'm just adding some more leaves in. Yeah, Deidre, the course you did was the Design Space course, not the beginner's course. So the beginner's course is a 6-week course. And it is every Sunday. At the moment, it'll be every Sunday starting in January, every Sunday for 6 weeks. So it's a completely different course to the Design Space one that you did. In the beginners, we actually go through and make projects as opposed to just teaching you how to use Design Space. There are still some spots available in my beginners and my intermediates for next year, but spots don't last long, so keep that in mind. So you can see here, I'm just building dimension. It really doesn't take that long. I mean, I've done almost a whole wreath by now. If you're doing a full wreath, then by all means, it will take you a bit longer. But personal preference of how you want yours to look. No need to apologize, Deirdre. How's everybody else doing? Just going to cut off some of the stems. Sometimes they're just too big for what you want to do. Just want to stick that piece in there. And look, there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm literally just creating a mess. So just spin this around, see how we're looking from all angles. I'm constantly moving it around just to see. I think I need to add a few more at the end here where this bad boy is. But I don't think I need a lot, which is great. So I'm just going to keep just gluing. Just remembering that you glue onto the paper and not directly onto your wire. And then I think we're going to be nearly ready to just start beading. This really didn't take that long. I was expecting it to sort of go for a bit longer, guys. So we're kind of nearly there. I think a little bit down the bottom here. You can't really see, but this part here is sort of empty. So I'm going to add, I think, one of these bad boys. And I mean, you can keep going until you use them all if you like, but you don't have to. Just burning myself here, don't worry about me. Linda, you definitely have to make one. I think that you will be surprised just how amazing these looks. So I'm not going to use the rest of the pieces here. I've got a couple of, like, about 7 leaves left, and one of my pine cone from last practice project, I guess you would call it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the garland. So I'm just going to snip off a portion of it. I don't know how many I'm going to need just yet. And then essentially, because you can see here on the end of it, there's that little bit of thread. Just snip the thread off as close as you can, just so it's not, you know, as big. And then I'm just snipping them on each side. So snip it off, snip the, what's that stuff called? The rope or the string. And I'm just going to keep snipping. If you've got red beads, like round red beads, then you can use them. I liked these. They were cheap. I can make heaps. I can still use them in my Christmas decorations elsewhere to tie things in. Yvonne, any info about my courses is over on my Facebook page, Nat's Crafty Life. I did post maybe less than a week ago about my next year's class times. Once I submit them into Cricut, they will also be located on Cricut Australia New Zealand's page. I just haven't had a chance to write them an email yet to submit them in. So now we've got a whole bunch of beads here. And what we need to do is just kind of figure out where we want to put them. So I'm just going to pop a dab of glue and sort of finds the spaces that I want to kind of fill. You can also go directly to natscraftylife.com and find my classes there in the book now or book online section, sorry. Oh, I just glued myself. Owie. That was ouchy. So I've just added a few in, and essentially what I'm trying to do is just make, they don't all have to have 2, not every holly gather has 3. You can put just 1 in if you like, you can put 2, whatever you feel like to kind of create that dimension, and anything that's sort of missing that something. Does that make sense? So I've just added that, but I just realized to put some glue on a bit that will show. So I'm just covering it with the berries, I guess you would call it. And like I said, you can add as many as you like or as little as you like. I'm going to pop one underneath here so it kind of plucks up that. What else have I got? Might pop one in here. I think I might need some more. I think I want a couple at the base of the pine cones just to create something in that little empty space. So I might just cut some more beads. So you can see it's sort of taking shape. Let's just, awesome. So I'll just cut these again. Sorry. I think that should be enough. I don't need a lot. So I'm just going to add a few more berries in different spots. Like I said, there's no right or wrong here. You just want to make sure your berries kind of go where there are holly leaves, because that's where they would sit. They would sit with your holly leaves. They wouldn't sit with your pine leaves. So just something to keep in mind when you're, sorry, get a little headshot there of me. And I think I'm quite happy with how many. Oh, I might just put one more down the bottom here in the middle and hope I don't burn myself. Where's my, sorry guys. Alrighty, so I'll just pop these beads to the side, and this is it. This is the end result. Now I'm actually going to tighten this bad boy here. Once he's on, I figured that I probably want him a little bit tighter. So what I can do is I can go in and I'm pushing down the wire, cutting it back shorter if it wants to cut. Of course it doesn't. And just tying a new knot, just so that he's a bit tighter. You don't want the pine cones, like I said, you don't want them to sit out too much. So I'm just tying another knot just to make him a little bit more condensed. Alrighty, so I'm going to bring you back to the main screen so you can see it. I'm going to hold him up, and this is how we've gone with our wreath. So I like the idea of hanging him off to the side, maybe this way, the bigger pine cones up the top and the little one down the bottom. You can add some ribbon if you like anywhere. You can have some ribbon hanging from behind it. I'll go a bit closer so you can see. I'll take a really good photo of it hanging up as well. You can add some ribbon up the top for it to hang as well. So it's a really simple project, and like I said, you can make it as full or as empty as you like. So I could have kept going all the way around the wreath with the leaves and just added holly and just kept the pine cones down the bottom, but I'm a fan of that sort of, it's not a half, but it's not a quarter, it's sort of like a 3/4 wreath. So that's the project today. I do have a few things to let you guys know. Oh, it's hot. It's getting so close to Christmas. I cannot believe it's December already. Like, where did this year go? It's absolutely ridiculous. Thank you for all the nice comments. Louise, I'm not sure exactly which section it's in. I believe that it's in the craft section. So not the kids craft section, but like where you get like the plywood discs and the paint and the markers that they have now as well. So fairly certain I saw it in there. I actually ordered mine online because I was doing an order for other stuff anyway. So what I wanted to sort of talk to you guys about is we're currently, and I don't know if anybody watched Paul's, you should have all watched Paul's live last week, where he asked you to jump onto laser blanks and answer a question. But we have the second half of this competition, which is absolutely amazing. Paul is saying hashtag balloon off. Go for it, Paul. But, okay, Paul found them with the styrofoam stuff. So, yeah. My half of the competition is, I want you to tell us, and the post will go live after I finish. I'll jump up and make the post. But I would like you to tell us the answer to this question, which is, what's the favorite gift you've received for Christmas? Now, that needs to be answered along with the answer to Paul's question from last week's live. So if you haven't seen what his question is, then you need to go over to Scissors Paper Paul on YouTube and watch his live from last week. And his live was on, what did he do? I can't remember what you did. Oh, the reject shop stuff. So his was the creations from the reject shop. So jump onto his live, answer his question, but you need to answer it in the post that we'll be making in Cricut for Australians for your chance to win a voucher from Laser Blanks. Now, next week we have Paul, and he will be making a New Year's Eve project. Now, he won't tell me what it is yet. He's probably flying with something amazing. He's probably going to try and like paper off me and beat my wreath. Or he's going to come out with like a New Year's Eve hot air balloon or something now. Oh, Paul is writing the post now. There you go, guys. So next week, Paul will be live doing a New Year's Eve project. I believe he's also going to be live at 11 a.m. on Sunday. So that'll be over on Scissors Paper Paul. Please check him out. I'll be too busy in a class, so please check him out, show him some love. And I will see you next time. And good luck for everybody who would like to enter the competition. Make sure you answer the question and we will see you soon. All right, guys. Bye.